That's your problem, not my problem. You're the one who's going to be disgraced and debauched and gross and disgusting and degenerate. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be my family. And one of the best examples of this, right, is, and this is a really it's a strange story, right? But when my son was 3, my parents-in-law had come over to hang out with my wife, and he was running around the living room. And I don't know how they got on the subject of twerking, right? But they had basically encouraged him to twerk, and he was doing it because he thought it was funny, and they all thought it was funny, ha 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 ha. And I walked in, I saw this, and I fucking exploded. I was just like, "You will never do this to my son again." And they were all like, "Oh my god, he's really fucking mad about it." So I was like, "Oh yeah, I am fucking incensed about this. You will not humiliate my son in this way ever again." And they were like, "Okay, all right, yeah, all right." And obviously he's never done it since, obviously. And at this point, I'm actually just actively teaching him that anything a girl does is yucky and you do the opposite, son. Like my wife earlier today, she's like, "Do you want some lip balm?" And he's like, "No, that's for girls." And I was like, "Yes, that's my boy." Fucking, you're not having any of that girly lip balm. But it was one of those things just like, I can say with absolute certainty that my father never allowed me to twerk or wear a dress or do something humiliating, and I would be goddamn embarrassed if I stood by and allowed people to do that to my son. So when he's older, he can't say the same thing, and I want him to be able to say that same thing. So protecting his dignity, that's how I look at it.
Well, that's the dad's job, is to protect the dignity of their children, and that's one of the tragedies of the current crop of people. I don't even want to just say the current generation, because it's multi-generational.
Oh yeah.
You've got people who think it's funny to have their kids doing stuff like twerking and engaging in this overtly sexual behavior while they're children, and they don't
but
understand.
Also feminine behavior as well, overtly feminine sexual behavior for obviously for a small girl, it's out of the question, but it's even more out of the question for a small boy, in my opinion, for the, various reasons. It's just deeply unmanly, and you want, and the thing is, all of these things, I'm reading a lot of Aristotle, and he's right about habits. People are their habits. They are what they do on a regular basis. And so if you habituate yourself into doing manly things, by the time you're an adult, you will be a man. You won't be confused and not know what you do. And this is what's been stolen from young men now. They're not habituated into manly virtues, to manly habits. And so this is what we as men have to essentially rediscover and reassert. And it's okay for us to do it, because if they can say, well, we're going to assert our being X, Y, or Z, however we identify, it's like, okay, well, this is how I identify. This is what I'm asserting, and you don't get to say no to that.